So you procrastinate a lot. You keep putting things off till tomorrow, till later, and most of the time you don't do these things. You keep the things that you keep putting off, you never do them. Or if you do them, do them on the last minute. If that's you, then welcome to this video, because I used to be exactly like that, and I know exactly how it feels. I know exactly how to help you. And my solution is not some woo-wah, just be disciplined bro advice. My advice is scientific. It's based on science. And I'm not going to overwhelm you with science stuff because I know it's complicated, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I promise you by the end of this video, you won't have any procrastination anymore. So I want to diagnose you fast with a few things. Would you say that you're a perfectionist? Maybe. Most of you would say yes. Okay. Would you say that you usually do things at the last minute? Like, for example, exams in college or uni, you would study for the exam maybe a few hours before the exam or one night before the exam. Most of you would say yes. The reason you do this is not because there's something wrong with you, or it's not because you are lazy. No, it's because of something called time sensitivity. And this is something that the brain learns in childhood. And the less time sensitive you are, the more procrastination that you would do. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means. So for a 5-year-old, let's look at someone named John, and he's 5 years old. If you come to John and tell him dinner will be ready in 5 minutes, what John will understand is that there's no dinner right now. John doesn't understand, the 5-year-old John doesn't understand how much 5 minutes is. They don't have the capacity to understand time. So they don't have the time sensitivity. Now, time sensitivity develops in the brain while the child is growing, and they will start understanding how much time, how much 5 minutes actually is, how much an hour actually is. So when you tell John, a 5-year-old John, that dinner will be ready in 5 minutes, what John will understand that dinner is not ready. That's it. Okay, what does that have to do with any of that? Well, most probably, and this is the reason I asked you if you are a perfectionist, and I believe that most of you would say yes. The reason for this is because the time sensitivity in you did not develop correctly. And this can be many reasons. One of them is tuning out, and I can explain that in a minute. Another one can be the reason of tuning out, which is ADHD. And being a perfectionist, stems from a deep-rooted belief that you're not good enough. You have this belief in you that I'm not good enough. And that's probably why you have the perfectionist mentality. And maybe when you hold a book and that book is 300 or 500 pages, you can't get yourself to start reading the first sentence. You know why? Because you're a perfectionist and you want to get it done, and it overwhelms you of how many pages there are. So you don't even start, because yourself is protecting you from proving to yourself that you're not good enough, of not completing the book. So yourself is protecting you by making you not even read the book in the first place. Same thing for any other project. If you have a project in mind or a business that you want to start, especially like you want to do something that is, you feel so much resistance towards, like doing cold calls or outreach or sales calls, and you have this perfectionist mentality, it's yourself protecting you from not triggering this belief of I'm not good enough. Now, this belief could come from many things, but most of the time it would come from parents. Now, not that your parents told you that you're not good enough, but maybe when you were a child, you got a grade in your exam of 80 out of 100 or a B+. And your parents, instead of congratulating you and telling you good job, they told you or asked you, why didn't you get a full mark? And if this happens over and over again, this will build a belief in you that you're not good enough, which will make you a perfectionist. Okay, we're getting off topic here. Now, what does procrastination do with any of that? And what does time sensitivity have to do with all of that? Your parents telling you that indirectly telling you that you're not good enough, among other things that they would do, and among a lot of stress that would happen in the family or during your childhood. The stress doesn't have to come from your parents. It can come from school. It can come from people that are bullying you. Any situation or situations that can bring a lot of stress, this massively affects the development of your brain circuits. And one of the things that get affected is your time sensitivity. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said something about ADHD, and I've made another video about it a few days ago about ADHD and how you can improve your focus and memory quickly and easily. It's a 24-minute video. You can go to my channel, you can check it out for a deeper dive into ADHD and how that plays a huge role and how almost everyone have ADHD these days. And ADHD is not binary. It's not that you have it or you don't. It's how much you have it. And it's not a disease. It's a coping mechanism for stress that someone who went through a lot of stress in their childhood, coping mechanism can be ADHD. And I explain in details in that video. But what I'm trying to say here is that one of the reasons for your brain not developing the time sensitivity is because of stress, childhood stress, either coming from parents or from school or from friends, or maybe all. Okay. Now that you understand time sensitivity, yes, it's affecting procrastination, but how exactly? Well, let me ask you this. A lot of you would say yes to the following. If you need to be at a place at 6 p.m. and it's 5:50 p.m., your brain would see 10 minutes as a lot of time. Now, objectively, I don't know if it's 10 minutes, if it's a lot of time or not. It depends on the distance. But subjectively, because you don't have the time sensitivity developed correctly, your brain would think that 10 minutes is a lot of time. And that's why you would leave things till the last minute. Okay, now that you know the theory behind this, and I know I talked a lot for, 7 minutes now. Let me explain to you the solution to this. Well, you have 80% of the solution right now by just understanding the theory, and that's the reason I started with the theory. Because you just understanding this unconscious thing, by just you becoming conscious of the unconscious, that's 80% of the solution. Of you knowing exactly why you keep putting these things off till tomorrow, of knowing exactly why you are a perfectionist, because most of the time, those procrastinators are perfectionists. And now that you know exactly the root cause behind these two, that's 80% of the solution. 20% is facing the resistance. Because I'm going to leave you with this. With anything in life, it comes suffering and pain and agony. You cannot live a life full of joy and happiness. You have to go through a lot of pain. And one of my mentors calls it the trial by fire. And it's very true, because everyone needs to go through a lot of pain. Because think of it this way. I don't have a pen here, but imagine that you have a pencil. And this pencil needs to be sharpened. If it's not sharpened, then you can't use it. The pencil is not useful. So the only way for the pencil to be useful to you is for you to sharpen it. Now you can imagine how much painful sharpening the pencil is. You're literally skinning the pencil alive. It's very painful. And the same thing goes for human beings. In order for you to become useful and to be able to provide value and make money from that value, because money is created when pain is alleviated, and pain is alleviated when problems are solved. This is another quote from my mentor. In order for you to be able to provide value, to make money and achieve your goals, you need to sharpen yourself, and it's very painful. And knowing the unconscious things in your mind now when it comes to perfectionism and procrastination and all of that, this is 80% of the solution. 20% is you remembering that and facing the enemy and looking at the enemy right on the eyes and facing them and telling yourself, yes, I used to be able to become a perfectionist. I understand that I have this belief of I'm not good enough, but I am good enough. I'm not going to let this perfectionism try to protect me, because it's not protecting me from anything anymore. So conscious awareness, this is the solution. If you want deeper dive into more making the unconscious conscious and specifically breaking your bad habits and addictions, then I invite you to check the school community that I have. You can see it in the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.